You are now listening to Through the Fryer. Sit down, no shade, but phones on. You want something juicy to talk about, and I have something to give you. Here we go. Open through the rest stay closed. Really, you don't have no windows. Hell, but it's okay. Too. I'm Super Saver. No, the ratings are back, and now we have 5 listeners. Listen, thank you for tuning in to Through the Fryer. Hello and welcome back to Through the Fryer, and this is Justin Bass, and I'm so happy to be back. I know it has been a while, but because it's been so long, I have so much to say. First, I would like to say that thank you for continuing to listening. It might be one person, it might be 2, it might be 3, it might be -6, but I know that somewhere my voice is being heard. And I definitely know because I'm paying $10 a month, and it better be. So I'm back with another riveting, soul-searching journey with this podcast where I'm going to let you in about everything that's been going on in my life as a professional artist, as a professional human being, and yeah, I'm ready just to dive in. I'm doing this podcast on October 23rd, 2018. I will most likely drop it today, and this one will not have all the crazy effects because I really just want to talk and I really just want to get some things out. I recently moved to New York City, if you haven't heard my last few podcasts, and I've been here for about, I want to say 3.5 months now, and it has been going quickly. So yeah, what is, taking me so long to do another podcast? I'm just going to say that living in New York, everything is moving so fast, and you see it and you hear about it and you have friends that are currently working in the city, but when you dive into it, your life, your schedule, everything just completely shifts. So as much as I love doing these podcasts, I don't know if I will be able to be consistent, but I do know that I should, because it would be nice to release one on a certain day every week. And I've said this in other podcasts where I do want to do that, but I've yet to do that. So just bear with me as I adjust and get ready to just make this more of a scheduled thing. Just even talking today, I feel even more inspired to just be more consistent with it. So I also want to announce that I kind of want to start to take a different turn with the podcast, where I feel like I've always been open. I've always been pretty real, but I know I've been like making the titles food-esque then to go with sass, but I don't know if that's making sense. So I think I'll just start making the titles pretty clear. Like today's title is Let's Get Real, because it's a shift. I'm in a totally different place than I was last time I did the podcast. Like, literally, I'm living in a totally different place than when I did the last podcast. And yeah, I just think it's, I'm ready to just be a little bit even more vulnerable, to be even more ready to just let it all out and just be here for whoever's listening, and yeah, to kind of go from there. So let me go ahead and just tell you that I have successfully landed an apartment in New York. I live in Brooklyn with my partner Marty and our best friend Maddie. We came here 3.5 months ago, and we had a 2.5-month lease, and that's all the time we had to find a place. And while we were getting jobs, while we were buying train passes, while we were trying to have somewhat of a social life, which did not exist and still doesn't, honestly, we found an apartment. We went on to Craigslist. We went on to Facebook Apartments. We went on to all the groups that are on Facebook. We went to Zillow. We went to New York City housing apps. We went through every single app that you can think of. We even went through thought about a few real estate agents, and we had a few connections, and everyone was telling us, they were like, hey, like, you're going to get a place at the very last minute. That's just how it happens. And me being how I am, I'm like, I need something now. I need us to like dig into this. We need to figure this out. Like, can we cement this a little bit more? And yeah, we saw a lot of places, and we got turned down from a lot of places, but we were lucky enough to land this place. which is a different area in Brooklyn. We were staying in Crown Heights, but now we reside a little bit in Flatbush / Prospect Park area, which is really nice. And we're near Q Train, which cut our commute. Like, we get 15 minutes cut, so it's like such a big difference when you're doing hour commutes to work. But honestly, I mean, taking the train anywhere, everywhere is so much better than driving. It's just no hassle. Even though the trains can be a bugger, it can be irritating, it is nice to have a system that works when it does work, and it works very well. And I always tell myself when I moved to New York that I would not be that person that would go on my Instagram or my Facebook and start bitching about how bad the MTA is, because it's not going to change the MTA tomorrow. It's not going to change the MTA 5 days from now. It takes time for these people to fix these tracks, to rebuild a system that's been working pretty well for people, and now people want it to be exceptionally well. I mean, just think if people wanted the best train station when they first started building it, it would be, in better shape. But now, since people want to make it better and they don't want to skip corners, it's going to take a long time before the MTA is even what we want. And then if we want it to be better, we have to be prepared to pay more money for these train passes. Yes, we pay taxes. Yes, we do all this stuff like that. But if we want to be in a safe train, a safe place of transportation, you got to be ready to fork out the money like everybody else, because that's what good quality is. So I've not made a post about how shitty the MTA is, or how late it runs, or how I have to walk to a stop that's 20 minutes away from the stop that was 7 minutes away. You know what? I'm able to travel. I got 2 good legs. I got 2 good eyes to get me to that, so I can see that stop. My legs to get me to the stop. And yeah, I just make my way there. So yeah, we have a nice apartment. We're finally making it a home. We got heat, we got water, we got food. We're all making it into our home, putting up pictures and stuff. And for friends who are coming to visit me in New York, I'm so excited for you guys to stay, because we definitely have one of those situations where we have a couch. We have room for people to crash. I remember visiting the city and trying to stay with friends, and they would let me stay, but I remember getting turned on countless times because there's this idea of no space, but there's no space anywhere in New York. But if you do come visit me, hit me up. If you have my number, you have a space. Now, you can't stay forever, but you can stay for free. Bring a bottle of wine, maybe some cheeses, and you'll have a cool place. We'll listen to some music, we'll play some games, and yeah, you'll be able to stay in Brooklyn. So the moving situation has been crazy, but it's starting to finally slow down, and we're seriously adulting right now. Okay, we got bills in our names. All right, we got furniture that we got. I just found a chair outside yesterday, and that bitch is awesome. Now it's inside my house. You kind of just have to go with it. And for somebody like me who is not a go with the flow type person, moving here, I am really learning to just let it go. And just keep my eye on what I'm here for. And the apartment was one of the biggest, hardest things. And to know that we have our own for a year, it changes a lot. So if you're looking for an apartment and you need some help or assistance, send me, message the podcast. Go to the Instagram of the podcast, which is Through the Fryer. Send an instant message. Ask some questions. Say, how did you do this? Because I don't feel like I see a lot of people doing that. I see a lot of people making it in New York and hustling, which is what we all have to do. But I'm yet to see an extension of help, like a lifeline. And, it's different when, you call on your friend and say, hey, can you help me with this? And they send you they say, just look at this group. I'm like, well, that's great, but I'm asking if you know anything past the group. Obviously, I'm looking at the group. Obviously, I'm looking on Craigslist. But what about some just helpful advice for somebody who's adjusting, who's changing? And I'm letting you guys know that if I do know you or I don't, reach out and ask, because, it's a lot of things that you can avoid that will waste your time. And I feel like more people who's living here, they need to be open to that, because nobody's here to take anything of yours. We're all just trying to make it. So, yeah, ask me some questions about how it is to move to any city and what you should do to prepare, because a lot of it is in the air, but it's always good to have dialogue, especially when moving is such a frustrating thing, So, yeah. Now, since I don't have any, sidebar things, I'm just going to keep going through the list that I have on my notepad for this podcast. And the next is just about me continuing to audition. and how that's been going. To be honest, like, I think the last time I did this podcast, I was like maybe at 10 or 12 auditions, and in between then, I probably did about maybe 2 or 3 more, just because I was just, still trying to adjust with us moving into this new apartment and trying to find something stable. And, those auditions, they're not guaranteed a job, which is like anything else you go and apply for. But, I'm starting to notice that, hey, I need to find a way to be stable here, because if I don't book this gig that can pay me a lot of money like this, I still need a job. I still need to be able to pay for my card, my train card. I still need to, get some food and things like that. So, I did an audition through a connection, and it went well. And I got a call back, and then I didn't hear anything else after that because I got through for a fucking loop. I'm just gonna say this. If you are holding auditions and you call somebody back for a lead, and if you say, and you do not say to the person that got called back, do you have any Latin dance experience? But then you throw a rumba and you throw a salsa into the audition and a partnering, and you not only do a basic, you do a super advanced, and you're wondering what's the confusion. It's because you don't know how to hold an audition, and because you decided to literally throw a curveball to anybody who's never trained in it, and you also have the small mind to think that anybody can pick up a ballroom style, when ballroom is just as complex as ballet, contemporary, or any other dance form. And what you're doing is trying to have people fake it and know minimal steps to make it seem like something. But I would like to see those same people who came in here doing this 1, 2, 3 step come and do the contemporary round, which I slayed. And I want to see them do this difficult advanced contemporary partner. But they wouldn't do that, which is why they came to the audition 3-4 hours late. So for the future, if you have an audition and you're doing a posting, say exactly what you're looking for. Be very clear, because it's okay if I don't get the gig. What's annoying is that you're holding an audition and not being professional. I don't care how much the pay is. I care about it being an equal opportunity for everyone. Because if you say at this audition that you must tap as well, I'm not going to show up with my tap shoes and I've never taken a tap class. Yes, there are some people who have had golden moments and never doing things like that, but you really should take a class or something before you show up for Billy Elliot or something like that and you're trying to get the job. But this last audition I did, I don't think I've ever been angry about anything, because I was there from like 10 a.m. to about 4:45, and I'm there all day. And the first part, which is contemporary, was awesome. My improv was great. It felt amazing. Then I just didn't understand where all these random people came super late and how they decided to not use anybody really that I thought from the beginning, because it seems like, oh, now we have other people that can do what you just did. I'm like, well, why didn't they audition with me? But that's how it is. That's how it is. That audition fucking sucked. And I'm not usually a bitter person about stuff. Yes, I am. I'm super fucking petty. But it's still like one of those situations where like, oh, okay. And you learn a lot. Like if I was to have an audition, what are my expectations? What do I want? But as fun as it was also very like irritating, because one thing I can say about the Broadway auditions is that it's very well put together. They have the counts ready, they got their music ready, they got their team ready. It's not no throw together type thing. And good luck to everybody that made it to that call. I won't even say what the audition is. Good luck. I hope you hit every step. I hope you have a great time. You won't be getting none of my ticket money, but I hope you have an awesome time and married. And that's just what the gig is. But it has been crazy auditioning so much. But it's also been nice for me to take a nice, healthy break from it, because, like I said, I had to get something way more stable. And I had to just prepare myself to be ready to live in New York. Like, I didn't come here for 2 months just to audition. I came here to move and live here. So finding some stability with that. And lucky enough, I was able to hit up a really good friend and say, hey, girl, I know a few weeks ago I was saying I don't want to teach these little rugrats, but Papa needs a job. I love you. What you got for me? And by the grace of everything coming from the sky, I'm teaching at 92nd Street Y, and I'm teaching in a few schools in Harlem, which are awesome. I'm teaching K through first grade. So it kind of just happened where this opportunity came my way, and I was open because there was nothing coming my way audition wise, and I'm like, I need to make rent, and making rent is important, and I wanted to get out of somewhat of debt because moving put me in serious debt. I would like to buy one ticket to see one Broadway show. And my merchandising job that I had that I spoke about last time is awesome, but it's a pickup job. It's not a job that's going to really pay any bills. I mean, it'll get you can go out for the weekend with the check, but that's about it. So I was like, I need something. I need to start bringing in the money. So this teaching job I got where I'm teaching first graders has been amazing. And I've been teaching in creative movement with some hip-hop emphasis. And it's been great. And I've taught a few sessions already, and I go back today. But at first I was like, I don't want to teach these little kids. But they're so receptive to what I'm doing. And it takes so much more energy to get their mind into something different, which is a good challenge for me. And they also don't know who they are, so they're open to a lot of possibilities. It's just how you present it. And I've always loved teaching. I told myself I didn't want to do it forever, but this job is amazing. So amazing. I was able to quit that merchandising job, and now my teaching job is great pay to where like I can have a few more days off out of the week. So maybe I can do more podcasts. So I can go out and enjoy the city. So I can make an amount of money to pay my rent and eat and get a train pass and relax with a glass of wine. So yeah, things are looking up, and it's crazy. I'm looking at the time on this podcast, and I'm at 16 minutes, and I've already like literally went down about 6 bullet points. But yeah, I decided to quit my other job because, you know, I need balance. I need a little bit more stable. Like I remember when I was first moving here, and even before I got here, everyone asked like, are you ready to work 1 million jobs and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that is so great that you think that everyone that moves here has to hustle between 4 and 5 jobs, because it's not healthy. And I know you have to do what you have to do, but I know that I've done a lot of work in the arts. I performed a lot. I have a lot of experience. I'm like, there's a way that I can minimalize this effort of this so I can find balance. And, you know, me working back-to-back Broadway shows, opening a matinee show and opening a closing show in the same day, there leaves no room for anything. Yes, it worked around my audition schedule amazingly, but other than that, it wasn't that great because I wasn't able to do anything on the weekends. I wasn't making that much money to compensate for me losing this time on the weekends. You know, there's no benefits to it. I mean, I did get to see some Broadway shows, which were amazing, and I saw them for free, but shit, I want to afford a Broadway ticket. Okay, I want to sit in the audience, and I don't care if I'm sitting in all the way in the mess. Like, I just want to relax and just not be at work and seeing a play. And I put in my 2 months at that job, and I can say that I did a hustle job. And when I put in my 2 weeks, you know, my boss, they were sad to see me go, but it was time, because here, with everything moving so fast, transitioning is happening, so much change, like moving to one job to the next, moving into an apartment, like getting to know your new neighborhood, knowing what trains is going to get you to where you have to go. You know, you have to be on top of it. And also, there's no assistant, there's nobody helping you yet, you know. So a lot of this is you're managing multiple schedules, and you're trying to put it all together into one thing. And as much as I want to do all the amazing events that happen in New York and all the shows I would love to see, I had to find a moment of being stable here. You know, I had to make sure my income was something that's going to benefit me, being able to do the things that I have to pay for and do the things that I want to pay for. And I've just been really lucky, but also I had the right connections with people, but I've also worked my ass off to where these people trust me to offer me work. Like, funny enough, my last day at my merchandise job wasn't the best day ever, because I ended up meeting these 2 dance teachers who took Graham, who took Court, took all these styles. And one of the teachers lives in Philly, the other one lives in Connecticut, and they come to New York to see shows. And I was working the Bernhardt Hamlet show, and they asked me, you know, what do I do? I'm a dancer, I told them, and Next thing you know, I gave them my business card. They said, we can get you some work to come out and teach. And there you go. So it's really about just being at the right place sometimes, but also just doing a small talk like I did with them and just having a moment of, just being patient. It's really difficult when you make such a change of performing all the time, which I did for 5 years straight when I was with RDT in Salt Lake City, Utah, and then to move into a place where you do have a few friends, but you're not really in any groups. And then a lot of the friends that you didn't keep in contact with that you want to reach out to that are my dance people, they're either super flaky. The New York scene here is super cliquish. You can't get into anything unless you know somebody. If you want to perform, you better know somebody. Like that last audition, it was just nice I was invited. I didn't know anything about it until I was invited for it. And it was through one of the choreographers. But you get into these situations where you're seeing, it's very tight-knit. So you having to show up to one of their events and you having to go to one of their shows, it costs money to do that. So I'm like, in order for me to get into these circles, or even in order for me to just, cultivate my own thing, I have to put my stuff out there, but I have to have the funds to do it. And I've had a lot of help from friends that I went to college with who's been super helpful with me, with getting me connected to the right people, helping me sub a class so I can be seen. And yeah, so it's been great. It's an emotional journey, being in such a place where you see people passing you by, and not just in the way of their success, but literally where you're going, there's constant of people moving in a direction of goingness, and finding a place in yourself to not even compare their energy with yours. Because sometimes you'll be on the street and you're like, why am I not moving like that? Why am I not going in this direction? Why am I not performing here? Why am I not doing this? And then you have to settle inside of yourself and you have to say, you know what, Justin, your time will come. It took me 5 years to get to the place where I left Salt Lake at that level of performance and choreography and the people that I knew. Now, I don't think it'll take me 5 years here because it moves so much faster, but I do feel like it's going to take me more than 3.5 months to be in a place where I feel like I'm connecting with the right people. And for someone like me who is so keen on connecting with individuals and networking and having conversations and meeting new people, it's crazy to me that a lot of my time is spent being at home. Yes, I get to be home with my partner and I love him, it's great. But I spent so much time with my friends when I was back in Salt Lake, and it's such a change. Noticing that you don't have that group anymore, that you're starting from scratch, with not even just career-wise, but life-wise. Every decision that you made, when you shot a text to a friend about, do you want to go to this bar? I send a text to somebody here, and it's like a random dance friend. It's hard to even get them to even reply to a text sometimes. So, and it's crazy. And I remember before moving here, I don't have a lot of guy friends, but the ones I've reached out to that I want to hang out with, honey, they are either booked, busy, or they act as though they booked and busy, or it's so much going on. So I'm really learning to invest in myself a little bit more. Because I've always felt like I'm a pretty strong-willed individual. But honestly, for me, even saying sometimes that can be some of the fakest things to feel, because nobody is truly in tune with themselves, and I feel like now, just making decisions based off what I want to do and me taking the time for myself is a big stretch, because it's not dependent on anyone else or anything else that I'm seeing while I'm going through this really fast-paced environment, it's, everyone that's here living here is, they know it's hard to make it here. So it's a stretch, but I've always wanted to be here, and it's been a dream of mine. So to be here, I feel like I'm finally settling into the idea that this is my new home and this is where I'm at. And I know it's still going to take time for me to adjust, but I still must continue to work. Like, I still must continue to cultivate my craft, or I will lose everything. That I won't lose it, but it definitely won't be as strong as when I was at it every day. But I'm not living that life anymore. I'm not, getting to work for company class at 9 a.m. I'm not getting off at 4 and I've been dancing for 7 hours. Like, it's a shift. So for me, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. When I get my next check, I'm going to get this class card. That way I can take these classes, I can have a card, and it's for sure that there's no reason for me not to have money for it because, classes here are super expensive, as everyone knows. But I'm like, I just want to move and I want to keep doing it. Like, I was able to get studio space, and me, Marty, and Maddie went, and we just improv together and moved together, and it was just such a moment of like, I needed this. Like, I just needed to feel like I still have the juice. And I just need to know that my rhythm, my timing for myself is still adjusting. And all of the self-help books and podcasts and things like that, they do remind me of like, it's a long journey, but at least I feel like I'm on the right path. I don't feel like I made a really bad decision by moving here. Yes, sometimes I do miss some of the things that I had when I was back in Salt Lake, how comfortable it was. But where I'm at now, how I'm being challenged, it just doesn't compare because I've never experienced this in my life. And to be 27 and to be just as hungry as I was when I was younger, and me trying to remind myself how much I wanted it, that is an adjustment that I would not trade for anything, because this is what I prayed for. This is what I asked for. This is what I quit my job for. And this is why I moved here. I moved here so I can be pushed beyond, new means. And these new challenges I'm going up against are definitely pushing me. Like, people say that they want to change, but when you actually put yourself inside the ring of fire, when you go and walk across the coal, the hot lava, like, you literally don't understand it until you are on it and in it. And I'm telling you now, to be in it, it's a different world. Like, I'm going through a series of emotions right now, but even just every day, just trying to commit to myself, but also letting go of shit. Being honest with myself that, you know what, you deserve this day. You deserve these few hours of being lazy, playing a game, watching Downton Abbey, which I am obsessed with right now. I'm on season 2. But it's like finding these moments of like, look, bitch, yes, something is happening right now. But what's happening for you is that you need to find some woosah, and you need to go get you some tea. You need to sit down. You need to get your pinky out. And you need to remind yourself that none of this happened overnight. Everything that I have now took me 3 months to get here when I moved here. So everything that's going to happen past today is going to take more time than me just replying to a post. There's no overnight success, and if it is overnight, that's how long it's going to last. So I have to keep reminding myself that what I want is in due time. But the fight that I have, I have to rest. Or there's no reason of me going to war if I'm not rested and ready to fight. There's no reason for me to go to battle knowing that I'm going to lose. So I'm reminding myself that me having this drink, me having this rum and coke, me sitting, me chilling, me watching my TV shows, is all a part of me balancing myself to get ready for the next day. Because it's another challenge. It's another thing. So just going through that cycle, and I hope you guys listening remind yourself that, you have to remember to cultivate your spirit. Like, you have to do that, especially in the place where I'm at now, where sometimes the energy around me is so negative because some of these people are just assholes for no reason. Like, I still don't understand the irritation of being in the train station and being irritated when someone is bumping you when it's a crowded train. Hello, you live in New York. Hello, it's the morning commute. Everyone's going to the same place. It's overcrowded. Did you think that you're going to get your own spot on this train? No, move your bag and give the seat up. It's the same thing when I hate going out to the club with people and they get mad because they get bumped into someone. I'm like, Did you not just pay the $20 cover fee to go into an overcrowded club? And did you think that you were not going to get bumped by accident on someone? Relax. So even for me, like, I'm learning to be like, it's not that serious. That don't need energy because it's not worth it. So that's just what's going on now. I mean, it's helping me, but emotionally it's like changing. But I do feel like I'm not losing hope. I'm a dreamer. I'm still fighting strong. I'm not auditioning every single day, but I'm still auditioning. But I'm definitely being picky about what I want to do because I did not move out here just to do anything. Now, I'm not turning down no jobs, but at the same time, I'm making sure that I'm putting myself in opportunities that align with what I want to do. And that's just where I'm at right now. And I think that's important that, yes, you want to pick up work, but make sure that work has some type of realm of what you would like to do. And yes, you need to make money, but there is something out there for you to do. And then if you have to take a moment to sacrifice time to something else, find a way to cultivate your spirit doing something like that's crafty, something that'll still keep your mind going and remind you why you are on this path of your dreams. Because nobody stops dreaming after they get a dream job. They get a bigger dream. They get a bigger idea. They get a bigger lens. They see the world different. And for somebody like me who has seen the world, I've traveled so much, like, I know I can do this. I just get exhausted sometimes. Man, that's okay. But I want this. And if you want it, you got to go out there and be fearless about it. And even on the days when you don't feel the strongest, find somewhere and let it out. Like recently, just a few days ago, I was walking my dog. I went to Prospect Park, and I just got tired of all the bad news that was coming in a day. And I sat down, I put a song in my ear, and I believe it was a song from the Color Purple soundtrack, I'm Here, or something like that. And I cried, and I do not cry. Like, I don't have, I rarely shed tears. Like, I tear up, but I sit down, I close my eyes, and I let these tears flow because there's nothing more human than me being vulnerable to a situation, because I've stopped myself so much from not being vulnerable to seem so strong about every situation that I haven't learned that me crying, letting it out was a way of me getting past it. And when I sat down and that weather hit and that sun hit my face and Charlie just sat there, it felt so right. I got up, I changed the song, I changed the beat, I changed the rhythm to everything in my life that I felt was going wrong. And I knew that I'm still here. I'm still surviving. And not even just the next day was better, but the next few minutes was better because I left everything on that bench when I cried on that bench and I said, you can do this. It's still not going to be easy, but this is what you want. This is what you asked for. So, yeah. Be vulnerable to yourself. Be open. And I even had to call a few friends and let them know, like, look, I never said I'm doing amazing, but I never let you guys know that this shit is crazy. Like, this, where I'm at now is ridiculous. It's not going to happen overnight, and they know that. And I told them I'm not naive to think that I thought that was going to happen, that it was going to be immediate success because I'm amazing. But I just had to let them know, like, this shit is hard. Like, keep me in your prayers, your thoughts, your whatever. Like, this shit is real. Like, I left a lot, and I miss you guys, and I forgot how much I leaned on my friends for emotional support, and it's hard. And once I let that open to them, I felt so much better because I didn't feel like I was living through anything else, that it became more honest for me and this journey that I'm on. So, yeah, don't be afraid. Somebody out there, they want to know that you're doing well, but they also want to know that if you're not doing well, so they can be there to support you in a friendship way and talk you into something to add to your situation. So, that was an emotional thing. A little emotional journey I just took you on. You know, get your Kleenex, wipe your face. And a quick reminder before I end this podcast is that it's really important that you guys go out and vote. I moved from Utah to New York, so I'm casting in my absentee ballot from there. But please don't forget to vote. It's really important. These elections are just not about a few. It's about a many of people who are any color of shade that wants rights, that wants equal rights and opportunities for people. So it's really important that you go out and you vote, and you still have time, and it's time to shake things up. You know, we're moving into a shift where we're going to be the old geezers talking to our youngins about the days when Trump was in office and how he ruined everything. So we just need to band together and go to your local voting polls and vote. Another thing is that I would love to get some questions for this next podcast that I'm doing, because I really want to, answer some things, give some advice about what's going on. I know I've asked this before, so I'll even send out a few text messages to friends to see what they say. But if you're listening and you enjoy this podcast, please comment, please share, please reach out to me and tell me that, maybe something in this 35-minute of a podcast that you related to, or something you didn't. This is Through the Fryer, and it's about going through a process of change when you have to go through that hot oil to come out crispy and lovely and delicious. And it's transition. This podcast is all about transition and change, and about staying positive about life, but being real about it, and understanding that the challenges that come are obstacles that can definitely be knocked down, and you have the support to do it, and that support lies in you. But you also have help from your friends, and there's people out there that you don't even know that support you. So stay strong, reach out, stay connected to your mind, body, and soul. And thank you so much. And you can listen to this podcast on Podbean or iTunes, and I cannot wait to come back with the next one. And this has been Through the Fryer with Justin Bass, and have a great day.